Hello, Kai here with you today. I thought I would do another video. It's amazing. But I wanted to show you how I did the stencil work on my Fascinator Fancy card yesterday. It's an easy process, and I don't know if it's been done before. I haven't seen it. It's just happened to me by a happy accident, and I've done it a few times. So what I do there is, now I've passed it with my rambling on, is with the Ken Oliver color bursts, I sprinkle on the colors I want to use, and I let it dry. I spritz it with water, of course, and then let it dry naturally. I don't dry it with a heat gun or anything because of the stencil. And once it's dried, I just, as you see here, I put it aside, and with the leftovers from it, I make a background for another card that I'll use at another time, and clean it up, and then I'm ready to use the embossing paste on my card with this ink that is left over on my stencil. So the magic of video, a clean work surface. So this is Nina 110-pound cardstock, and I put the stencil with the inked side up, so the dried ink is facing me, and I tape it down very well because I don't want any lifting, of course, when I'm doing using the embossing paste. You don't want it going in underneath the stencil, and this is quite a detailed stencil, so it would be easy to get the paste in underneath if you don't have the stencil good and tight. And I'm using the Dreamweaver pearlescent embossing paste for this card today. And I just take some out of the jar. I just do the regular embossing, spreading the embossing paste normally. But the minute because the embossing paste is a damp medium, it activates the inks again. And the same would apply with any ink that you put on here. I just happen to like the look with the color burst inks. They're just so vibrant. And you have to be, the only thing is you can't like clean off your palette knife back in the embossing paste. It's once you've got it on there, you're going to have to get rid of it. Just wipe it off your knife or your tool. So to get the green on the card, I'm going from the bottom up on this part, and then once that color's on, then I'll just go from the top down. You don't have to. I'm doing this whole stencil today, and I don't normally use a whole stencil when I'm using it on a card. I just use certain areas of a stencil. But for this card, to show you this process, I decided to use a stencil that would be the whole card front. This is a Crafter's Workshop mini sweet peas stencil, 6x6 that I'm using. And the colors of color bursts are chartreuse, tangerine, fuchsia, and lime green. And then I follow up with using the lime green once this part of the card is done. This little way that I do spritzing or splatter work using the color burst, but without putting it on the actual card because it's cardstock, of course. So take it off, peel it off, and that's what I've got. So I let it dry naturally. I don't heat it. I just let it, I put it on the windowsill. Sometimes I open the window, that hurries it along. And then to get the splatter on my card, I just have it aerate off behind the card, like I have a panel there so it doesn't go everywhere. And I use this little plastic sheet that I made, laminated sheet that I made, and I have a little bit of the lime green on the laminated sheet, and I spritz it, and then the splatter flies up and hits the card. So if I go down, it'll come towards the bottom of the card. If I move the laminated sheet up, it goes towards the top of the card. Once I get a nice amount on there, where it looks good, I'm happy, but sometimes I've had to do that process a couple of times to get it everywhere that I wanted it to be. It's hard to see right here, but you'll see it later on in the picture. And then I just stamped a sentiment. This is going to somebody that's been having a bit of a rough time. So this is Birch Land by Altenew, and they have some really nice, thoughtful sentiments in this set. And I've used the Ranger Archival Library Green to do the stamping, with my Misty, of course. And to attach the panel, I'm using a piece of fun foam that I cut to size and some Scorpel tape. And I think, oh, I better put it on the inside too, in the middle. Like, why aren't my hands sticking to that? Because you haven't got the tape in the middle. So I line that all up, and again I put the score tape on this side and attach it to my Neenah cardstock white card base. And I die cut out the sentiment with a Lawn Fawn label die. It's kind of long, so I cut it twice to get it to be the size that I want it to be. Excuse me. So once I cut it, I attach some foam tape to the back of it and add it to the front of the card, and that's it. So thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you giving me a thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll try and do them more often. Thanks for watching.